Today is a very important occasion in the Moses Kotane Institute calendar. If you can look at our logo behind me, it does say in our tagline, Innovation in the Future. We live, breathe, and get excited with innovation. Not only do we believe in innovation, but we believe more in the innovators that our province has produced, and our province keeps on producing year in and year out. So without further ado, I would like to call upon the stage for the opening and welcome. But before I do that, I would like to acknowledge the presence of the Moses Kotane Institute Board Chairperson, Mr. Sakile Ngobo, Dr. Sakile Ngobo, and the CEO of the Innovate Durban, Ms. Alberts, the CEO of Smart Exchange, Mr. Naidu, the Microsoft Provincial Executive, Mr. Sandile Mahlaba, and a special welcome to the Moses Kotane Institute CEO, Ms. Thandeka Ellenson. Thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, from home, we do have our MKI board members joining in. We greet you all the senior government officials present, and all those that are joining us from online. And ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for tuning in for a proper and a very exciting welcome. I will bring the board chairperson, Dr. Ngobo. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming. It's really a pleasure and an honor for me to be welcoming you. I just want to emphasize that you need to maintain the protocols that are required of all of us from in terms of COVID-19. My task today is a very simple one, is to welcome each one of you, but let me first deal with the protocol. Program Director, Ms. Bongi Wetulai, thank you very much for your kind words in starting this program today. CEO Thandeka Ellenson, thank you very much for taking time. Innovate Durban CEO was here. Aurelia Alberts, thank you very much for taking time. The CEO of Smart Exchange, Mr. Naidu. Babu Mahlaba from Microsoft. Seen him, but I know he's here. Bob Sandile, thank you very much. My colleagues that have joined online, the board members of MKI, and other executives in the family of entities within ITIA, you're all welcome. All senior managers that are present, and some of them have joined online, welcome. Thank you very much for taking time to be with us. But more importantly, the innovators. This event would not have been possible if it's not the innovators that we are here today to celebrate. A special welcome to each one of you. But I also want to welcome the past winners, because I'm told there's one or two past winners that are also present here. I'll be very keen to hear how far they've gone with some of the good work that they've started with us a few years ago. I'm told that the minister may be joining us. Minister Late Nzimande may be joining us. I'm told he's in the building. We'll welcome him when he comes in. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. I've got a short speech that I was asked to talk about and share with yourselves. But what is important is that in MKI, this statement, innovation, is a fundamental drive in terms of who we are and where we're going as an organization. We talk about innovate for the future, and that's the basis of what we stand for as an organization. I think it's important that we continuously spend time to look for innovation in the province, and not just to look and find it and celebrate it, but more importantly to make sure that we follow through in terms of the execution and implementation, and also to see the result and then monitor the impact of innovation in our province. We now understand that without innovation, we cannot grow our economy. It's now a matter of fact and a matter of requirement or a matter of necessity that everything we do, we have to embed innovation. Innovation is now the way of life. Just imagine if we did not embed innovation going into the COVID situation. The technology that we are now utilizing, like today, I know that most of our colleagues are on Teams. During this difficult time, which is the COVID times, technology has proven to us that it's the way of the future. Otherwise, we would not be able to continue to run our companies and our businesses if we are not able to align ourselves and ensure that we combine innovation and technology in order to drive economic development. The point I need to make quite clearly, especially to the colleagues that are here that are responsible in terms of innovation and technology within Moses Sudan, is the importance of using technology to drive socio-economic development. We know for a fact that the future is no longer about bigger organizations. We are not going to have another Anglo-American, unfortunately, in the new economy that we are going into. We are not going to have a big Mondi that employs 10,000 people. But we're going to have a lot of these smaller entities that will be employing between 5 and 200 people. If that is where the future is going in terms of economic development going forward, we have to ensure that we embed transformation in terms of innovation and technology to ensure that we assist those companies. I own a maritime business. And we've realized that if we do not innovate, we are never going to continue to compete with the world. The introduction of the new technologies around tracking of cargo and tracking of vessels and so on, if we do not embed that technology ourselves, we've realized that we cannot be able to compete. We've seen it with the taxi industry in South Africa. The introduction of Uber and Bolt and others have made other businesses, taxi businesses, to be obsolete. So technology is the way of the future and is the way we need to be continuously embedding in order to ensure that we continue to maximize return in terms of the opportunities going forward. Innovation drives economic growth, like I said earlier, and innovations find new and more efficient ways of solving societal problems. And we've got to embed that view going forward. Technology being the source of innovation has been identified within MKI as a critical success factor in terms of increasing market competitiveness and to stimulate economic growth. In the context of South Africa, innovation is perceived as the tool to promote inclusive transformation, to address existing structural challenges such as inequality, poverty, and unemployment. These are the biggest challenges that we need to use technology in order to address those issues. We have learned that failure to innovate is now tantamount to negligence. Negligence is an active neglect of doing the right things in any organization. So I want to then call on each one of you to embrace the colleagues that will be winners today. It's not about winning, as I said, it's about how effectively we push forward those ideas. The focus in terms of these opportunities is really to find these young, talented innovators and help them through in terms of finding opportunities going forward. Thank you very much for your comments.
Thank you very much, Chair. I think when we looked at who can we bring today to talk to the upcoming innovators, we had to look back and see who has walked the very same path that you are walking and has come up and is ready to take on the commercial side of innovation, because where innovation ends, that's where entrepreneurship must begin. You must never innovate just for innovation's sake. You innovate with an end goal. And an end goal is to have commercially viable products, commercially viable services, that when you get off the lab, when you get off your thinking cap, you become an entrepreneur. I'd like to today to bring to you our guest speaker, Mr. Blessing Zuza, an innovator, a social entrepreneur, a hustler, an award-winning and a founder of Resco. He is, after spending almost 3 years, I want to repeat that, 3 years building a proudly South African social startup. He has started working to motivate others and also focusing on his business. He is going to talk more about his innovation, and some of the work is outside as he's sitting there on the stand. And I would like for you to welcome our 2019 Moses Kodana Innovation winner in the ICT category, Blessing Zuza. Thank you.
I was actually third place, eh? But I think my third place got me here. So if I did not win that, you guys probably would not invite me here, so I'm very happy about this. Hope everyone is well. Before I actually start, I'd like to say thank you to all the guys who have chosen innovation. Guys who've chosen to go left, where actually most guys have gone right. Innovating is not easy, guys. There's a lot of sleepless nights, but your sacrifices will one day pay off. I can promise you that. And today I'm actually invited as a speaker, but I actually look at myself as one of your colleagues who's just had an opportunity to share a story. So I'm just going to break down my story year by year, and I'm going to give each year a title. So I'm going to start in 2016, and hopefully throughout my story, you're actually going to pick up some principles, right? So I'm going to start in 2016. 2016, for me, it was about doing whatever it took, right? I'm originally from Eshowe, and after my third failure in business, I was back home, right? You know, you fail, you go back home, you fail, you go back home. So the third time I was like, you know what? I'm going to go back to Durban. I'm going to do this whole IT thing that I've always been passionate about. And no matter what happens this time, I had a conviction to say, you know what? If it means I have to sleep in the street, I'll do just that. So when I left the show, I had about $120 and a very vivid dream that I actually wanted to do IT. So having come back, I utilized my contacts, the friends I knew from my previous businesses. Before that, I used to export meat to China. So the first people I called were a bunch of Chinese friends of mine to say, guys, do you actually have a job for me? I need to make something happen this time. So fortunately for me, they wanted someone to help them do market research, right? So they paid me $20,000, which was my first startup cap, to build an IT business. So after doing the actual market research for them, it was 2016, they paid me $20,000. So leading on to 2017, I had 20,000 and a vivid dream still. Right? So I used the 20,000 to actually source a developer. Found one guy at Smart Exchange. So this guy was going to help me build this amazing online platform which will actually help entrepreneurs trade their products and services. 6 months later, the product was still not built. 20,000, guys, you know, it's not a lot of money. At that time, we were renting a spot in South Beach. We were actually renting a bed for 1,100 a month. It was rough. It was like a prison camp. But we had to do. So the guy who was actually building for me, he got funded through Smart Exchange and TIA for his innovation project. So I was left alone now to actually build this whole system. So I had to humble myself at that time and learn some IT and graphic design skills to actually help me survive at that point. So I really had to swallow my pride because part of me was still angry because we were like, dude, we just spent this 6 months, you've been promising left, right, and center, but I actually said, you know what, instead of being angry at this guy, let me try to find out from him what steps did he take in order for him to actually qualify for funding, right? So now, that was the entire 2017, sacrificing just for your dreams. Now in 2018, after he had taught me the ropes, finally joined Smart Exchange, where things started looking up for me. I was very excited about this. If you know me, you know that I work the networks. And then I started building relationships within the incubation itself, understanding how things work, who does what. And funny enough, the other incubators, the other entrepreneurs, they taught me how to build websites, how to do graphic design. So I was actually able to actually provide a proper service. On the side, I was also hustling to build, to actually raise funds for an innovation, right? So I would apply for 3 startups. First one rejected, second one rejected, third one provisionally approved, whatever that meant. But I can tell you now, it was torture, right? But it was exciting because, you know what, I was still determined to actually move forward. Using the same skills now in terms of building websites and doing graphic design, I was able to score some work at Smart Exchange. The value of the work, it was around about 45,000. Mind you, I've moved out of the place in South Beach. My next destination is the office, right? And I'm sure some guys can actually share that story, right? So I had a choice to make now, right? Because the provisional approval required me to go and speak to big companies in Joburg. My startup connects patients with private ambulances. So I had to get ER24 and Netcare on board. So that's what the fund required. They required letters of interest, and they also told me that I have to get these guys to buy in with 100,000 each. Imagine going to Joburg and say, hey, I have an idea. I need you to give me 100,000. I knew at the back of my head that this was never going to happen. But I still used the last funds I had to go there and still get these guys to at least give me the letters of interest, right? Got them, and then still at the office, I got them, and then I submitted them. Funny enough, when I was actually presenting, the gentleman who had told me that I need to go get 100Ks, he had completely forgotten about that. Here I am, 20,000 rands short later, having gone up and collected the letters, right? But at least I got approved for the actual funding, and that's when the excitement began for me. That's when life actually began, right? So in 2019 for me, it was all about building a product while understanding the industry I'm in, right? Because I think what most guys are doing, especially in the actual innovation space, they actually grab onto a piece of knowledge and then hold on to it forever. They fail to actually grow and understand how the industry is actually evolving so that they can continuously align themselves with the actual industry and also look at opportunities as well, because seed funding runs out, guys. There is a market that you have to address later on, so you still need to continue building and being in business. So 2019, I won Italy for the Sematalian and Moses Kotane award. It was very helpful. I was very happy about that, and that happened through still researching the actual industry I'm in, right? And then I also got acquainted to things like accelerators. Accelerators help you in understanding what a startup is supposed to do, right? Especially after building a product. How do you convert this from being just an idea, an innovation, a prototype, into a real business? So I joined a startup. It was based in Cape Town. It actually trained us a lot in that. It was called Acro. Maybe if you want to look at it as well later, right? So I did a lot of learning and applying in 2019. And then in 2020, the year of the COVID, we had to transition now from an innovation and idea into building a business. So now you start looking at where can I find more money? Because that's just the reality of it. You know, you're just kidding yourself if you're saying you're building an innovation and you're just going to bootstrap everything. At some point, you need to get sources of funding. So I would also add, of which it's what my topic is today, from idea to commercialization. Guys, there are different sources of funding out there to help you build your business. There are VCs, there's grants, there is loans at some point. So you just need to understand what type of funding you need for your business and actually align yourself. Once you've actually been fortunate enough to actually get there, the next stage is make sure that your applications are proper, guys, because that's where most guys fail, right? Most guys fail because of the application. I've been involved with a lot of organizations. Our recent commercialization funding was actually supported by CIFA, right? CIFA told the guy who's actually managing our fund, told me that out of more than 300 applications, only 3 people had proper application which were fundable, right? So, and all of these 3 guys, I know, and they'd gone throughout the whole of KZN. So, do not, make sure whenever you're sitting down and putting your actual proposition on a paper, if you read it yourself, it makes sense to you before you send it to someone else. Don't just fill out, just for the sake of filling out, right? In closing, I would also like to also add that, guys, be willing to put yourself out there, you know. Don't build and be like, hey, I'm not sure. Push it out there, promote yourself, because if you don't do it, no one else will do it for you. And you never know who's actually looking, right? So get your product out there, be proud of your innovation. Yeah.
There is nothing more interesting than to see passion for what you do. Because without passion, you have no reason to wake up again and again and again. Year after year after year. Failure after failure after failure. If you're not passionate about what you do, chances are along the way you'll give up. But just before you make the next million. So taking what he's saying is just before you give up, just know that the first million is around the corner. I think that will be good enough to motivate you. I think everybody is here for the MKI Innovation Awards, and I would just like to give a brief on what exactly it is that we do at the Moses Godana Institute. We are the Institute of the Department of Economic Development, Tourism and Environmental Affairs. We are entrusted with the role to coordinate innovation activities on behalf of the KZN province. Ours is to encourage the entrepreneurs to be innovators and the innovators to be entrepreneurs, because with those two combinations, this province can lead. We do that in this same format. We seek and we look and we support innovators. We talk, we have dialogues around these issues, we have lectures on innovation, but more so, we create enabling platforms and collaborate with different stakeholders, from business to institutions of higher learning, so that there is an ecosystem that is around to provide overall support for the innovators. So this year, when we call for the MKI 2021 awards, we asked the province to come forward with the following categories. We asked for manufacturing, ICT, maritime, agriculture, renewable energy, health, education, tourism, and hospitality. It is with sadness that some of these categories came out with absolutely nothing. We had nothing on maritime. We had no innovator who tried on agriculture, no innovator who tried on hospitality and tourism. Yet we know that there is abundance of opportunities in these areas. I say this because what missed opportunity it is for the young and the brave out there. So what I'm asking is that next year we're going to go out again, hoping that somebody's sitting there today and looking at the chance to participate and to innovate around these areas. But two, is the issue of a challenge to us as the Moses Godana Institute to say, while we celebrate today, there is so much work we need to go and do in order to ignite innovation across KZN. That's just a small brief on the innovation. So today we are here to celebrate those who have slept, woken up, dreamed it, did it, and continue to do it. We'll start with the category for education. I would like to call upon on stage the CEO of the Moses Godana Institute, the Executive Manager for Corporate Services, and the Board Chairperson to come in front and assist us in awarding these colleagues. Thank you very much. For the category for education, Second place goes to Watoto Wazania NPC. Watoto Wazania NPC. And you're gonna have to clap again. And you can go touch with practices. Thank you very much. And the winner, BSGN Technologies. The next category was the manufacturing category. Third place goes to Soldiers Holding. And I think it's worth mentioning that they were part of our enterprise development. Thank you. The second place goes to Kuluhlaza Trading. They are exhibiting outside. They are manufacturing bricks. And the winner is Mbongeni Ntini, the guy with the car. Thank you. Thank you very much. Next category, renewable energy. Second place goes to JM Bioenergy. I think I'm loving the youth coming up front. I think for this time around, I am so excited about the young ones that have actually dared to come forward. Thank you very much. And the winner is TES Renewable Energy Holdings. And we're doing good with gender. I think we're doing very well. Thank you. The next category is the category that saw the biggest disruptions in innovation in the year 2020, the health category. Second place goes to Dumsani Mlambo. And the winner is Clinalytics, the one-man show. Thank you. I think 2020 showed the hunger for people for the ICT sector. For the very first time in the history of the Moses Kotane Institute, the competition on this was enormous, to a point where the person who got fourth place has the same scores as some of the people who walk away as winners today. That's how gruesome the competition was in this category. It is for the first time that we actually acknowledge the 4th place because his work was as that good. Flow Technologies. You were fighting amongst the beast. Third place goes to Take Your Delivery. Believe me, you held your own. If you look at the scores, it was too close. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to call somebody who has broken all the rules known for this competition. He has gone and taught the competition down to its core. For the first time, we get one person getting the first and the second place. For the first time, we're getting somebody who's going to win 2 awards in each and the same category. If I can just ask you to get his check from the back and put it forward because he deserves it. Advocate, please come assist. That was the reason why you were here, for the check. When it comes to the money, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to call up his name. It is there on the check. Mr. Kolan Pagati, please stand up. Can I please have stand ovation for him? Can you please stand up for him? I think I'm very, very excited that he serves for the provincial government. He is one of our own. He has come up with 2 innovations that have revolutionized the health sector. He has come up with an innovation that will be played right now that looks at the exit interview system and that looks at people that take aids from the state. They take crutches, they take hearing aids from one hospital to another, and the state could not trace them. People were double dipping, and government was not only losing money, but the needy were not getting assistance they deserved. He has come up with the solution. And just for that, we're saying thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, that makes the end of the awards for 2021, and we're very excited that the call for 2022 will go out, and we need a lot of people to come forward and innovate, innovate, innovate. But I think for this year, Mr. Pagati, we hope that somebody will break this record. We hope somebody young will come and break this record. We thank you very much. Thank you very much, CEO, and thank you very much, Chairperson. If we can just cue in cue in Julius. Thank you.
I'm a Bachelor of Science graduate, graduated 2016. Originally from Shishue. I started working as a teacher because of job scarcity. I couldn't get my own job. And then when I got to the school, now I had to explain a practical part kubantwana, whereas like a theory. So, which is this very same thing that happened to me when I got to varsity. I had to start from like zero. I then decided to start and open a science center, a PhD. We do anything that is related to, science and technology. In our program, where sifaka khona i-learners program, teachers program, kanye ne-community program. Kwi-learners program, this is what we do. We teach them about basic coding. because sifuna ba-understand bagcine ngokwazi nje ukuthi i-computer iyavulwa ungene ku-Word utype and that's it. We also, if kuwukuthi sibanikeza ama-experiment, we take ama-chemicals, we go to the schools, because if sivakashele bona esikoleni kubenefita abantwana abaningi kakhulu. Siyona sibathatha from ama-grade amancane from primary base natural science siyise go technology kuze kuyofika ekutheni umuntu ka-grade 9, and then they do have that background abafuna uku-understand but babe naleyo nto isisekelo ukuthi they want to know more about science. Second program that we have, teachers program, because okunye we might not be able to reach abantwana bonke at once, but uma thina sithatha abo-teacher sitraina bona sibakhombisa ukuthi what are robotics, what is programming, what is like how to do ama-science experiment. Kusho ukuthi sikwazi ukuthola abantwana abaningi through OTH. What we do for a community, we have a program whereby senza ama-website, senza all database. So what we do thina kahle kahle ama-service wethu ukuthi sithi we trying to be in line with the fourth industrial revolution while helping abantwana improve their results and their skills with science and technology.
South Africa is blessed with the most talented, hard-working and the best healthcare professionals in the world. The first successful heart transplant right here, and most recently, the first successful middle ear transplant was done right here at home. However, every single day, millions of South Africans are stranded in overcrowded and chaotic healthcare facilities seeking medical help. Medical records are misplaced or lost, and in other cases, damaged. This is where we come in as Cleanalytics to help healthcare professionals so they can focus on what truly matters, which is patient care. As Cleanalytics, we've developed and offer practice management software to healthcare professionals that allows them to do 4 simple things: create, store, analyze, and manage both medical records and their patient bookings. Whether it's prior bookings or walk-in patients, with just one view of our software, you can be able to see patients that have already consulted, those waiting to consult, those who have missed their appointment. This makes it easy to manage your waiting room and vastly improves the patient experience. We make it easy for you to access patient records instantly. You can be able to even create new patients or new consultations within seconds, be able to attach necessary documents such as blood test results or any images that are necessary. Our role is to make it as easy as possible to manage your practice and improve the patient experience. If you are a patient, you can refer us to your doctor today. If you are healthcare professionals, reach out to us and we can get you started immediately. It doesn't even take an hour to get started on our system. South Africa already has the talent. Our role is to equip them with tools that enable them to provide quality healthcare services. We are changing South Africa to become the best healthcare provider in the world.
Ekukhuleni kwami ngimncane ngumfanyana, sikhula nabanye abafana besikuthanda ukwakha izinqola zeingcingo, siqhuba senza konke. Ngokukhula kwami ngabona ukuthi akusangilungele, ngase ngithola lokho naloko abakulahlayo, ngiqoqe, ngihlanganise. Kwazi kwaphuma wona-ke lo msebenzi lo. Ababengikhuthaza kakhulu-ke yintsha, ngoba bona banawo umqondo olula ukuthi ngiqhubeke ngiyenze lento. Ngayiqala ngo-2011, kwaba yinyanga ezimbili. Ngathola uchase olahliwe, ngase ngifaka into yokuqala nje ngabeka kahle lokho kujikisa istelingi. Isonto elilandelayo ngafaka ama-seat, ngase ngimountena kahle-ke nenjini ukuthi ibopheke ngendlela okuyiyo, ngoba kufanele ime ngendlela eqondile uzima ihamba ingabi nongqanqazela imoto ihambe kahle. Ngathola nezinsimbi zembhede-ke, nganquma ngashisela, ngayithesta-ke. kukhona nomsakazo mangihamba mhlambe isizungu ngafaka nebhande lokuthi ngiyivikele lokuthi we-seat belt. Imfundo engayifundayo ayibanga yinhle kahle ngoba ngiyenzanga lokwezeyimoto engineering kodwa ngokuthi khule ngiyithanda into ehambayo. Futhi lokho kwangikhuthaza ukuthi ngigcine ngiyenzileke lo msebenzi lo.
Greetings everyone, we are the Tegio delivery team. I am Andiso Chibangu, one of the founders of the company. And then on my left is Pamela Butelezi, my co-founder. On my far left is Mr. Rogeren Chibangu, who is an IT specialist. And on my right is Mr. Edison Shumba, who is also our technical advisor.
So basically, Tegio Delivery is an online platform that serves to sell goods and services for small to medium enterprises, particularly the ones from township businesses. We serve areas like pink areas. This is Phoenix, Inanda, Kwamashu, Umlazi.
Now the question will be asked like how they're going to do that. So by going on our website, they're going to find the link of become a partner. So what they will do, they're going to fill in the form and then the data will come to us and one of our consultants will contact them to check what kind of product they want to put on our platform, take all the necessary pictures and everything to upload in our database, and from there their product will be listed in our database. Somebody will be able to see their product online either through our app or through our website. And once somebody purchases something, one of our drivers will go and collect the product from the service provider SMME in a township and go deliver to the customers. Everything is taken care of by our team.
You can actually order at the comfort of your own home and get your delivery within a day, only if you are within the radius of 3 to 5 kilometers. Beyond that, terms and conditions do apply.
Our mission statement is to assist small to medium enterprises with regards to their online presence, bridging the gap between large enterprises and small businesses. We contemplate by doing that, it will improve economic growth in township businesses, thereby creating jobs and overall economic growth. Our vision statement is that we want to be the #1 biggest online store for township businesses and rural businesses by 2030.
We at Caesars Renewable Energy designed an alternative energy source, which is this unit in front of you. We looked at how rural people or people without energy, how they suffer. When we researched and developed this unit, we looked at the main need, which is the lighting and the charging of a cell phone. And then we looked at also the load shedding that happens also when there's storm and then the electricity has to go off. So that is when we decided on this alternative energy source. The name of our units or of our products is a Utilite 47. The name came about an AK-47 because you can assemble it anywhere. It can be indoor or outdoors, but it's easily assembled. It's easy rechargeable. You can just take it outside and charge it, and then once full, you bring it back inside. It lasts up to 12 hours, and it only takes you 3 hours for you to recharge it. It's user-friendly. What happens is that you take your unit, you charge it using a solar panel, so that means you use the sun to charge it, and then you bring it back inside, and even if it rains, it's water resistant. The Utilite 47, you can design it or build it in the way that will suit the specs that you need. Meaning that if you are a person who wants to use it at the salon, you can add a spec for the clippers so that you are able to charge your clippers for cutting hair. And then if you're a person who does not have electricity and you have a need of watching television, that's where we are able to add a spec for a TV. But it has to be an LED TV. And also if you need to use it for a refrigerator, that's where now we have to add a spec and increase the voltage for it to be able to work on an LED.
Watoto Azanya is a non-profit organization that builds eco-friendly interactive toolkits with the aim of bridging the digital divide. The interactive toolkits are divided into 5 sections: the visualizer,
sikhuluma ngezinto ezithintekayo okwazi ukuzithinta ongakwazi ukwenza ngazo ama-alphabet kusuka ku-A kuze kuyafika ku-Z, izinamba usuke ku-0 uziyofika ku-10, kuzoba ama-shapes. Kwama-shapes ungakwazi ukukhanda amabhokisi, ungakwazi ukukhanda yonke inhlobo le-shape ofuna ukulakha.
Tokens and board games.
Ilapho khona sike sithathe khona ama-tokens siwaqoqe phansi siwawasha ama-tokens sibe sesifundisa izingane ngokudlala ama-games. Ama-game engaba njengomlabalaba kumbe ama-alphabet kanye neyezinamba.
Digitizer,
which is a way of giving a computer an eye so that it can look at the world and see what we are doing. So we are using the concept of computer vision.
simulator,
It is a low-cost computing device that gives the full functionality of a computer at a fraction of the cost.
and universal controller.
The universal controller is an input device that allows for the interaction between the learner and the simulator. The digitizer looks at what the learner is doing by making movement on the universal controller and responds by running the relevant code on the simulator.
We care for the environment. We then build our learner toolkits using eco-friendly materials such as bottle caps, plastic, and boxes.
Our main goal is to improve our quality education. Our organization will focus on foundation phase, where we'll be providing learners with toolkits that will help them to learn on how the computer can work with them. They will also learn how the computer can analyze the problem, solve the problem, and produce good results.
We encourage the African child to dream as big as possible without being restricted by their backgrounds.
Prior in 2016, there was no monitoring of assistive devices in the department. Each and every institution had its own manual system where they recorded the assistive devices that are issued to patients. There was an issue of the book being misplaced or some of the patients hopping from one institution to another for assistive devices, where the patients that were in need ended up being on a waiting list. I then came up with the Assistive Devices electronic management system, a web-based system where it greatly assisted the department to monitor the issuing of assistive devices. And that has saved the department millions of rands. When there was the department was using manual form of issuing assistive devices, patients were hopping from one institution to another. The assistive devices that are provided by the department is communication devices, hearing aids, walking stick, wheelchair, among other devices that are provided. So how the assistive devices electronic management system works, the patient walks into the facility and then his or her details are captured. They then stored on a central database. The assistive device electronic management systems, it reduces the duplication of allocation of assistive devices. It also assists the department to plan and redirect the budget allocation to procure other assistive devices. They are able to see how many patients that are still on a waiting list, what districts or what facilities that have been allocated devices in order for the department to fulfill its mandates of service delivery. Electronic exit interview form, it's a web-based system that enables each and every employee in the department to submit exit interview form without having to consult with their supervisors or submit the manual form to their supervisors. It goes straight to HR management in head office. Prior into 2018, there was no electronic exit interview form. Each institution had its own manual recording of employees that exit the department. There was a problem there because you'll find that In one institution, there are 50 employees that exited the department, but Human Resources Management only receive 10 or 20 applications. Electronic exit interview form, it assists the employees that exit the department because they are able to capture their concerns online. It goes straight to HR management, who are then able to see why the employees exit the department, and then their respective district or management of the facility, they are able to sit and resolve the concerns that were raised by the exited employee and come up with the resolutions. It also avoid misplaced or torn away or lost of files, because now the information is sent electronically to Human Resource Management in head office.
Without any further delay, I would like to call upon the Moses Kodane Institute Chief Executive Officer, Ms. Thandeka Ellenson, to give us her closing remarks.
Thank you very much, Program Director, Ms. Bongiwe July, for putting this together. The Moses Kodane Institute is responsible for driving economic development and innovation through research in KwaZulu-Natal. And we do this by enhancing knowledge economy through our digital technologies. And we assist communities by providing an enabling environment for them to flourish and for them to practice and for them to find a space where they can explore and prototype their ideas and so on. And we do this through the coordinating activities. And through, today the Institute has recognized the innovators that have blessed the province with products that enhance services and business transactions in the space of government, business and academia and so on. I'd like to urge business partners, government departments and academic institutions, as well as individuals, to take up these products and to take up these opportunities so that our innovators can find space to commercialize their products. These products are useful to all of us, and let us not wait for other countries to come and buy our products when we are here in KZN and in South Africa. So I'd like to congratulate our winners for their remarkable innovations that are to make the difference in the province. And it is truly an amazing work, and it's amazing that we have such brains in KwaZulu-Natal province. I mean, these people are changing the status quo, and these people are improving our lives, they are improving our products, they are improving the way we deliver our services in the space of business, government and academia again. So with that, I would like to thank the chairman of Moses Kodane Institute, Dr. Sakile Ngobo, as well as MKI board members that are joining us virtually. I'd like to thank our guest speaker, our 2019 winner, Innovation Awards winner, Mr. Nzuza. And I would like to thank some of our partners who are doing remarkable work again in the space of innovation, who are incubating some of these entrepreneurs, and that's Innovate Durban CEO, Ms. Aurelia Alberts, as well as the CEO of Smart Exchange, Mr. Jonathan Naidu, as well as the provincial executive for Microsoft, who has gone an extra mile to support us in the space of innovation, and that is Mr. Sandile Mahlala. I'd also like to thank senior managers and those that are joining us online, the management of the Moses Kodane Institute, as well as team members, especially to Ms. July, who has put this program together, and all the ladies and gentlemen that have joined us here physically as well as virtually. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, CEO. I think for me is to say thank you, thank you, thank you. And before we leave and before we cut off from the live stream, I would like to leave the following words for our innovators, taken from his 1927 poem, Desiderata by Max Ehrmann. Go placidly amid the noise and the haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible, without surrender, go on good terms with all the persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others, even to the dull and the ignorant. They too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexatious to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain and bitter. For always, there will always be somebody greater or lesser than you. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interest in your career, however humble. It is the real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution on your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. Beyond the wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you conceive him to be. And whatever your laborers and your aspirations in this noisy confusion of life, keep peace within your soul. With all its shame and its drudgery and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be cheerful and strive to be happy and keep innovating. Thank you.